Hey everyone, we are live. Hopefully we're live. Everything is good here. It's our first weekly one. We're going to try this every week. Hopefully Meg and AJ will join us on a bunch of these, but we are going to get started here. Hello and welcome to everybody. I'm just going to try to highlight some of these chats. Yeah, it works. That works. That's good. All right, so hey everyone, we're going to get started. If anybody has any questions, of course, feel free to pop those in. Also, my fun question of the day, we're not going to pull a Matt Hochberg here and ask when your next Royal Caribbean cruise is, but we're going to ask, what is your favorite cruise line in the chat? Put in your favorite cruise line. Fred, as you know, I do not like letting gross people handle food, so I'm all for it, although I do understand that costs a lot of money to have people serve us all the time. So it's not perfect. I get it, but it is what it is. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our Norwegian Joy cruise that I was on and about some of our upcoming things. But again, if you are just coming in and popping in, let us know what your favorite cruise line is. Is it Royal? Is it Norwegian? Is it Carnival? Let me know in the chat. And of course, like I said, if you have any questions, let us know in the chat as well. So we recently got off the Norwegian Joy just 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago now. So everything's still fresh in my head. The Norwegian Joy, we had a great time. I enjoyed the Norwegian Joy. However, what I will say, and I've said it on a lot of the vlogs and a lot of the different things that you've seen, is that the ship felt really tight, really small, because it was really crowded, and just the design of those ships are, the flow is not great. Here you go. Yeah. 2 days at Ocean Key. I mean, I'm all for that. That's amazing. Anything with an overnight, any overnights at private islands, I will sign up for ASAP. I'm a big ship person. I love being on the ship because we go on so many cruises. You know, sometimes I've been to some of these Caribbean destinations so many times. Santa, thanks so much. You'll figure it out. Everybody has their favorite. I go back and forth. Sometimes, you know, if I have a really good cruise, it's Royal. Sometimes it's Norwegian. After this last Joy cruise, it's certainly not Norwegian at the moment. I had a really good time. We had a great itinerary. We were in Bermuda for 3 days, but I will say that the ship was so crowded and so tight, and I forgot after being on MSC and Royal for a while how much nickel and diming there is on NCL, which drives me a little bit crazy. Still had a great time. Wonderful cruise. Food was great. Entertainment was great. But they don't, Norwegian on this like Breakaway and Breakaway Plus class ships, once they're full, there's not a great traffic flow on those ships. Everything kind of takes place on 6, 7, 8, or all the way at the top of the ship, obviously, if you're on the pool decks. And it seems like everyone is in the same place at the same time. What I love about Royal and Oasis class ships is that the flow is so good because there are so many people either kind of wandering to an ice skating show or to the Aqua Theater or to the main theater or up playing mini golf or doing something different. There's so many different neighborhoods and spaces, just people wandering through Central Park, that it never seems or feels crowded. But yeah, it's crazy. Thanks, Jeff. Construction on cruise ships drives me nuts. I get it. There's no good way to do it, right? They're constantly going, with the exception of doing like a several week dry dock, which Joy is obviously going to do in January. The things that are like not, thanks so much, Jeff, you too. But it's, you know, sometimes it's just unfortunate. There's nothing you could do about it. You know, there's just things going on. Hey, Greg, thanks so much for stopping in. I really appreciate you coming. I appreciate all your comments on all of our vlogs and everything. Let's see, San Francisco Bay, upcoming cruise with 4 different cruise lines you've already done. Princess, NCL, and Royal Caribbean. Princess is wonderful. I know a lot of people love Princess. Don Terrace loves Princess. Dave's favorite here is Virgin. Yeah, no nickel and diming. That's a big plus on Virgin. We will be on a Brilliant Lady in April. That will be very, very fun. Jeff, I hope you had a good time on the cruise. We definitely had a good time, but the flow there of everything going is really wild and was really crazy. And there are times where it's like empty in certain places, but it's crazy. Fred, Symphony is going to be up in Bayonne for the next 2 years. So you got to come up and go on it. We are doing our Halloween cruise next year on Symphony, October 27th to November 3rd. That will be a blast, obviously, if you would like to come up and join us on that. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're doing a costume contest, a murder mystery evening. We're going to be doing pub crawls. Greg asked if I could only do one more cruise, what would it be? Greg, that's a very mean question. If I could only do one more. But I get it. It's a great question. So if I could only do one, it would probably be on, I'm gonna say Oasis. I did 2 cruises on Oasis last year, one in May, one in June. And we did the Crown Loft Suite, which was spectacular. And if you don't know, if you all don't know, most of the time I sail in an inside cabin. I don't care about balconies. Balconies, like I wind up never going out there. Most of the time I sail inside, but there are times where we do suites, and it is awesome. And if I could do one more, it would be on Oasis or Wonder, any of the Oasis class. But, that's my pick. It would be Oasis, and I just love that ship. I love Symphony as well, Wonder. They're all great. Just I have something special for Oasis. Dave, I know. I've been watching Don, and he's been not happy to say the least with Princess lately. Yeah, I agree with you, Jeff. We had a good time too. I don't know if I would go on. I think I said it in one of my vlogs. I think the only way I would go on Joy again is if I was in the Haven. I'm interested to see after they put in the thermal suite, because I think that would have helped from our perspective. But yeah. So if you all didn't hear, Celebrity had made some changes as well that I think everybody's going to be pissed about. They took tips out of the all-included. It's going to be in our Sunday news segment. But I saw some vloggers like JJ Cruz and all have already commented on it. It's interesting. I really wish some of the cruise lines would read the room a little bit better. I know everybody's still recovering from the pandemic, and they're gouging right now to try to make money. It was such a great deal, like right after the pandemic, to cruise, and now it's not great at the moment, and it's been really nuts. But the level of nickel and diming and not including things is starting to drive me crazy, which is not good, because if it drives me crazy, it's definitely going to drive everyone else crazy. So I really wish one cruise line would look and be like, okay, let's make an all-inclusive offering, like similar to Virgin, right? But even with the drinks included, kind of like Norwegian does, but really kind of without the nickel and diming of Norwegian, kind of really takes all of those things and puts them together, and I think they would win big in the game. I would pay more money to have everything included and not be annoyed or nickel and dimed once I get on the ship. Fred, thanks so much. You should definitely come with us on the Halloween group cruise. We are definitely going Hotchberg style on that. We're not charging extra for that at all. So we are in the same camp as what Matt does. You are welcome to book that with any travel agent that you want. Just let us know your reservation number. I mean, obviously, we would love for you to book it with us. We get commission on that, which would be great. And then that helps pay for a lot of the things that we're doing on the cruise. But we're not going to be stingy. If you are going, you're welcome to join us in our group and hang out with us and do fun things. We want to be as inclusive as humanly possible. I don't have a cool Matt Hotchberg plastic cup here, so I'm just going to drink my Starry, which isn't sponsoring us. So yeah, we had a good time. So coming up, if anyone's interested, I am going on this one solo on Mariner of the Seas in 2 weeks from tomorrow. I'm leaving. So I'm doing the night before in Orlando. As a travel agent, we get a couple cool perks. I say it all the time. We pay for our cruises. We pay for every one of our cruises. We don't take the free ones because I want to be able to be critical and honest about what we see and what we like and what we don't like. So, but one of the cool perks with being a travel agent is I get a free night hotel at Disney once a year, and I get a free pass once a year at one of the parks. So I'm going down on the 14th of September. I'm staying at the All-Star Sports Resort, and then I'm going to be going to Hollywood Studios, and I'm going to be going to Universal for the Haunted Halloween thing, even though it's only September. But it'll be really fun. Yeah, I agree, Dave. I think the burst of bookings was from all that quarantine. Now it's going to start going away. And especially with Royal, the price, I'm looking every day and the prices keep going up. I know, Dave, right? Integrity. The prices keep going up and up and up and up for Disney and for Royal, specifically for Icon and Utopia. I get alerts. So we get alerts on cruise fare for our clients. If the cruise fare drops generally more than $50, we'll reprice it. So I get an alert that pops up in my window and I get an email that says like, hey, this cruise has dropped $60, and then I can go in and reprice it and get that savings. I also get if it goes up more than $100, and I'm getting them almost every day from Royal. So we booked Icon the first day bookings were available, and it was expensive then. We're going on Icon in March. I'm in an inside cabin. That cabin is $600 more than it was a few months ago for an inside cabin. That's crazy. Royal keeps raising prices. Disney loves raising prices. And I saw Jason Liberty in the recent Royal video where he came out and said that they're trying to, basically they're modeling after Disney with the parks and trying to keep raising prices of supply and demand, which I get, and I appreciate the fact that they run a business. I run a business, so I understand. But profit's not everything, and you want to make sure you don't lose your client base. Hey, Greg, great comment on the casino comps. I get some of the casino, sadly, I get some casino free cruises too, which means I'm just dumping my money on sea days into the slot bank there. So, yeah, I get some of those, but you do have to pay for port fees and taxes. And then, if depending on where you are, you still have to pay for drinks. You have to pay for all that. It winds up being, you're paying, obviously, when we get casino comps, I'm paying more than the cruise is worth in those when I'm gambling anyway. So, yeah, they wind up still being expensive, but it's fun. It gives you something to do, and it's entertainment. Dave, great point. Family of 4 at Perfect Day is more than the cruise now. Yeah, it depends on when you book it. I was looking at my cruise that's coming up, and I think the water park was still fairly reasonable. I'm going to look right now as we're sitting here. Let's see what it is. I know I looked at the overwater cabanas is one of my favorite things to look at. And I know Matt talks about this on the live stream a lot. But those overwater cabanas, I mean, you used to be able to get one of those for like $1,500, which is still crazy expensive. Now with it being not, it is, so the floating cabanas are $2,200, which actually isn't bad because it's been like I've seen it for $4,000. But you're right. If you do a Thrill Water Park cabana, if you did a cabana there, which actually makes sense, it's only $800. That's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. Considering you can do anything on Perfect Day you want. But the full day pass is $115. So it's kind of a deal if you wanted to. If you have more than 2 kids, doing the cabana is actually probably great because it gives you like a landing spot, and they bring you food all day there. We did that on one of our cruises on Oasis last year. They literally bring you food all day. She kept bringing us chicken sandwiches, and she brought us a Bluetooth speaker and drinks. We didn't even have the drink package, and she was bringing us drink. I get 5 drinks a day now, obviously on Royal for being Diamond Plus, but nobody else in our party really drinks that much. And that was like a whole team cruise, and they were just dumping drinks at our station. So that's a good deal. But you're right. It's $115 a person for the water park, which is outrageous. It should be like $60 or $70. I think that's fair. I still do enjoy Cocoa Beach Club. So if you can get Cocoa Beach Club for like $150, I think it's worth it. It's $205 on my cruise in 2 weeks, so I am not doing that. Yeah, the Thrill Park cabanas include the wristbands. So I think you could take 8 people. Is it 6 or 8? I'm going to look. 6. So it's up to 6 of your friends. Yeah, so that's not a bad deal for that. It's pretty much the same amount you would pay for 6 people. So you could rope some people into splitting that with you and do that. So that's the best deal right now. Otherwise, that cruise, I'm not doing any of those things at Perfect Day. I'm just going to go. One of the things I wanted to do at Perfect Day this time, because I usually do Cocoa Beach Club, is I wanted to do a free day there and just show all the cool things that you could do for free. So I'll be doing a little bit of a tour of the island itself and showing you a bunch of things you could do for free there, because there's not much left anymore you could do for free. So yeah, those are some cool things. So I'll be on. So I get on Mariner of the Seas on the 15th of September, coming up, and then I will be on that for an 8-day cruise. It's a cool itinerary, leaving out of Port Canaveral, going to Bermuda for 3 days. So I'll be at 3 more days in Bermuda. Then it goes to Nassau, and then it goes to Perfect Day. Of course, who knows with all the hurricanes going on and tropical storms and everything else. It's typical for this time of year. We'll see what happens. If not, the next one we are going on as a team. That would be Meg, AJ, and I are going on NCL Escape, very similar to the Joy with Choir Man on it. We'll be going on that October 15th out of Bayonne. Out of Manhattan, sorry. So if anybody is bored in October and wants to go see New England, that one goes to Newport, Rhode Island. It goes to Portland, Maine, Bar Harbor, St. John's, and Halifax. It's a great cruise if you don't like sea days. So that's a cool one. Dave, you're right. The beach club has a really chill atmosphere. I love it there. It's literally what I advise all of our clients to do. Go to Cocoa Beach Club, hang out there, relax, especially if you like the beach and you want to relax for the day. You could sit in the infinity pool. You don't even have to go down to the beach. You could sit at the infinity pool. You get the nice cushion lounge chairs. You don't feel stressed there at all. Once you get there, you just sign up for lunch. You get the surf and turf lunch. If you like lobster and steak, you get a surf and turf lunch. Great desserts. Great little bento box, little appetizers that they give you. You basically get everything on the menu, but it's so relaxing there, and you get the bar service and everything is there. It's awesome. I highly recommend Cocoa Beach Club. Under $200. If it's over $200, it starts to lose value for me. It's $205 on this one. I would probably do it if I wasn't doing excursions or anything, but $205 is a little bit higher than what I think is. I think $150, $160 is perfect for Cocoa Beach Club. And now Coco Cay is going to be getting more and more crowded because Celebrity's going to be going there, which I don't know how I feel about that. I guess it's cool if you love Celebrity. It's going to give you a chance to go to Perfect Day, but I don't really love it when there's 2 ships there. It gets a little nuts, but there's nothing you can do about that until they build another cool one, until the one in the Bahamas is done, which is going to be pretty cool as well. But that's not going to be as crazy as Perfect Day. Speaking of, Carnival announced this week Celebrity Celebration Key. I like that they actually pronounced it Key and they typed it out as Key. It's not C-A-Y, it's K-E-Y, which is cool. That's going to be ramping up next year, so that's pretty interesting. That is down in Grand Bahama, which is great because there's nothing going on in Grand Bahama. If you've ever been down there, that is not a great port. So having a private island there is awesome. Back-to-back out of Miami, 7-day on NCL, followed by, a 5. So you're doing a side-to-side. The old 7-day on NCL Encore. Encore is interesting. I'm going to pop that back up again. Encore is interesting. You know, obviously it's going to be very much like the Joy and then Explorer. I love Explorer. It's a great ship. I've been on Explorer twice. I've been on Adventure twice. I'm going on Mariner, which is a little bit amped up compared to those two. And then I got to get out to the West Coast to hit Navigator. But I think you'll have a great time. That's going to be awesome. Also, I've been on a cruise for the Super Bowl, for the NBA Finals, for the NCAA tournament, for the World Cup last year. We were on Symphony during the World Cup. It is awesome. Depending on what ship you're on, it's a shame you're not on Mariner, one of the ships that has Playmakers. We were on Symphony. Playmakers had the World Cup on. It was on all the TVs. Everybody was out on the boardwalk watching the World Cup. There was like people jumping up and down. It was really incredible. It was very, very fun. And it would have been nice to see the U.S. in there, but they are terrible at soccer. So yeah, Greg, you're going to have a great time on that. Let me know what you think of Encore. I'm interested to hear people's opinion on Encore and if it feels the same as Joy did to me. We are obviously going on Escape in a month, and then we'll be on Bliss next year for a really fun Alaskan cruise. Dave, I've done back-to-backs Eastern and Western Caribbean. So I've done like St. Thomas, St. Martin, and then done, Cozumel, Roatan, Jamaica on the other week. I've also done, I've done Bahamas and then Southern Caribbean back-to-back. I don't think I've ever done anything different than that. But that would be awesome. Any of those that are awesome. If you can go on the same ship and do 2 different itineraries in like back-to-back weeks, I think that is awesome. Greg said he's going to be the Encore for the Super Bowl. That'll be fun. They might have it up in Spice H2O. Spice H2O? Does Encore have? No, Encore Spice. Yeah, they do. I think NCL Encore does Encore. Nope, there is no Spice H2O. I knew there was one of them that didn't have Spice H2O. Trying to think where they will play the Super Bowl on that. Obviously, they'll have it on in the local. I'm trying to think of where else they're going to be doing it. Thomas said you're doing a back-to-back Alaskan cruise in Bliss in 37 days. Well, you're right at the end of the season, huh? Should be nice. That's actually a really cool time to do Alaska right at the end of the season. You're not going to have the crowds there. Awesome. You will have no kids. It's great, right? It's my favorite thing about this September 15th cruise that I've going up. After going on Joy, where there was like 1,100 teens and preteens, and then going on Mariner in a few weeks, it's going to be so nice. With all the kids, it'll be like their second or third week back to school, so people won't be pulling their kids. There will be some kids, I'm sure, but it's going to be nice. Tom, you're going to have a great time on that. Bliss, I've said it a million times. Bliss is my favorite NCL cruise ship, bar none. It used to be my favorite cruise ship. It's now number 2 behind Oasis, but that is an amazing cruise ship. Going on Bliss to Alaska for the observation lounge, it's just spectacular. Thomas, is it the same itinerary? Is it Seattle? Let me know in the chat there. Dave said he envies you, Thomas. That's great. If anybody else has questions or anything, feel free to pop in your cruise questions. Also, if anybody new joined, let us know what your favorite cruise line is. If you're new into the chat here, let us know. We're going to hang out for a little bit. Oh, Thomas, come on. That's amazing. Both are in the Haven. What category in the Haven? Are you doing the like courtyard, or are you doing like a aft balcony, forward balcony? Where are you at? That is really spectacular. Now I'm jealous. I wish I was doing that. Courtyard. That's awesome. Yeah, Bliss, Joy, and Encore have the go-karts. Dave just asked, do I have any interest in checking out the Explorer 1? Yes, absolutely I do. I am looking into booking that at the moment. It is a little pricey, and I want to make sure, like, this is a brand. Look, MSC got some bumpy roads in the beginning. So I've been on a few MSCs this year already, and we had an amazing time. I have no issues with MSC, but on this brand new offering, I want to make sure this is smooth first. I am absolutely going to book the Explorer. I'm interested. I've been on Silver Sea a few times, so I'm interested to see how it compares to that. But I'm absolutely going to check out the Explorer 1. Thomas, happy anniversary. Your 40th. That's going to be an amazing trip. That is incredible. Back-to-backs to Alaska at the end of the season without kids. You are going to have a blast. You'll be able to see some salmon. That'll be really fun. Tons of cool things to do up there. One of the other things I always get people always do, if anyone ever has questions about excursions or things to do, we talk to people all the time. Obviously, we go on a ton of cruises, but we talk to our clients. And every time somebody comes back from a cruise, I always kind of do a debrief with them and ask them, like, what excursions did you do? How did you enjoy them? What would you rate them? And we're constantly talking about that. So if anyone ever has questions about excursions or anything like that, feel free to email me. Or comment on a video or anything. Anyone can always email me at jp@bitesizecruises.com, and I'm happy to answer questions. That post-cruise, back-to-back post-cruise depression after that. It's weird now since I go on so many cruises, right? It's really weird. I got off of the Joy on the 13th. It's the 30th. That was 17 days ago. I feel like I haven't been on a cruise 4 months. It's bizarre. It's been 2 weeks. Fred, you can email me anytime. Anybody can email me at any time if you have questions, not only if you want to book or something. If you do want to book, feel free to email me. It's jp@bitesizecruises.com, BYTE. If you just have questions about, cruising or excursions, I'm always available. I'm happy to chat. I'm happy to answer questions. It's not a problem at all. We had a couple of really nice people email us this week and tell us they booked cruises a while ago, and they asked if they could shift them under us because they like our videos and they wanted to ask questions. You can always ask me questions. There are no strings attached. You don't have to book with us. I'm here. I'm always happy to answer questions. Greg said we're doing a 10-day. Greg, that one's going to be awesome. 10-day. Are you doing any land on that, or is it just a 10-day cruise? Paul, thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate it. We love that people comment. I love when people comment on our videos and let us know that they're watching them, and just good to get some feedback. Thank you so much, and thanks for coming to our live chat. We're going to do this every Wednesday, same time. Sana asked, would my old travel agent find out if I switched to a different agent? The answer is no. We don't know. We have no idea. There's no way. If people booked and went out, we have no idea if you book direct or not. If you book, like once you book with us, if you go on a cruise and like you book with Next Cruise, we get credit for that, which is really cool. But they will ask you, like the Royal Caribbean will say like, oh, is John at Dream Vacation or John at Dream Vacations or Bite Size Cruise or whatever your agent, you could say yes, and then we get credit for that. But no, your travel agent would never find out if you switched. It's all, unless they're watching this live stream right now, and then they would know. Yeah, that is a big step up there, Thomas. That's all. Hey, that's what it's all about, right? It's about progression in cruising. I tell people all the time, there's levels to cruising. You know, you go up and up and up, and it's really cool to stay in suites and get that. But once you stay in like the Haven, or you have a Genie, or you stay in the yacht club, it's hard to go back to like a regular room. It's a real struggle. I'm telling you. I went from the yacht club two cruises in a row in the yacht club to being in an inside cabin on NCL. That was not pleasant. I mean, it was fine. Look. Yeah, that's so funny. Tony just driving across to film some ships. I get like, at least he's in Florida, right? I would have to drive to Bayonne once a week to look at a cruise. Yeah, you're definitely going to see some salmon fishing in Ketchikan there. That'll be awesome. That would be a blast to go do that. Catch yourself some salmon and bring that back. So Fred, I don't love the patch. I get seasick, which is crazy, right? I go on so many cruises. I don't get as much seasick anymore, but I do get seasick on small ships or ferries or things like that. The patch never worked for me. It made me like really dry. It like made my mouth really dry. And if you drink on the patch, it's supposed to not be great. I will tell you, I started wearing the bands, the C bands. I don't know if they work or not. It may be placebo, but I've talked to a bunch of like crew on the ship. Our butlers on Oasis and our Crown Loft Suite, she wears them and she swears by them. She said they work great for her. I've talked to so many people. Try the C bands. And the other thing I tell everyone to do. So earlier this week, I had a rough day on Monday. I got vertigo. First time it's ever happened to me. Actually, it was Friday, last Friday. I had to leave work and go home. I had vertigo. I was like super sick for 2 days. But what I will say is if you get seasick, my number one recommendation, one is the C bands. 2 is to go to your doctor before you go on a cruise and get a prescription for meclizine. I'm telling you, it is a life changer. If you get seasick and you are sick, I mean, there are times where we were on Symphony last year and everybody was sick and I wasn't sick, but I didn't feel good. So I'll eat ginger or apples and have my bands on and I just try to push through it. If I'm sick, I take one meclizine, like a 12 milligram ones. It is a game changer. It will knock you out, right? You're going to sleep or you'll be groggy at least, but it takes the seasickness right away. So that's my recommendation is make sure you do that. Greg, my rule of thumb on the beverage package, it's a super personal choice, but so I'm not a big drinker. If I go on Royal, I get 5 drinks a day. I'm not even going to get through them. I usually buy Meg or AJ or somebody a drink or even a soda. If I'm on NCL, I get the drink package and I find that I drink more. Like Meg and I both had the premium. We did free at C Plus, so we had the premium drink package. So we were getting like a bottle of wine at dinner, and then I would have a cocktail at before the show or in the evening. I cannot get to 7 drinks a day. There's no scenario in my life where I can get to 7. So it doesn't make sense for me to do it. I've done it because sometimes here, and I'll give you the same Matt Hochberg line, right? It's worth it sometimes for peace of mind. So if I don't want to have a bill at the end, sometimes I'll just buy the drink package because I don't want to deal with it. And then if I get drinks or sodas or anything, I don't have to worry about it. But most of the time, it's not. I don't think the drink packages are worth it. I think it forces you to drink more than you would. Some people drink a lot. If you drink, like if you get up, you go have a mimosa, and then you're on the pool deck at 11 or 12 o'clock. You get a beer, you get a pina colada. That's 3 there. And then maybe you have a little something in the afternoon. That's 4. You get some wine at dinner. You have a drink. It's just not me. But if you are in that thing where you're drinking throughout the day, yeah, it's definitely worth it. Depends what cruise line, right? Royal seems to be getting crazier and crazier. Same with Celebrity. That's why I kind of like the NCL free at sea, but you definitely need to be able to drink. It's worth. Yeah. True. You got to pay for it. And especially if you're getting 2 of them, geez, it's even more. I would just, for me, I'd rather just pay a la carte, especially now where I get 5 and I'm on NCL. I get, I always do the free at sea anyway, so I'm getting drinks anyway. Dave, thanks so much. Yeah. What it's really fun for me, is I love the way that Emma does her kind of whole thing that she does. I love that she breaks things down very simply. Every video I watch, it's like you're a brand new cruiser. Like, oh, if you didn't know this is the biggest ship in the world, and this is how much it costs per day. And Emma especially is like on a strict budget, right? She's inside cabin, sharing them with her brother, doing different things. I really, really appreciate that, and I appreciate her approach to cruising. And agreed, right? So I want to enjoy the ship. I want to enjoy cruising, and we're travel agents. I say it in every video. At the core of what we do, we're not vloggers. Yes, we're doing vlogs. Yes, hopefully it'll help us pay for some of these cruises and some of the different things that we do. But it is really nice just to be on a cruise and just appreciate it and not make a big deal out of it. There are some vloggers who make a big deal out of it and try to get everything for free and do things. And I was watching, one of the things that I do is, I talk about it all the time in my videos. We're never going to be salacious. We're never going to be the ones that are like, you won't believe. You're also going to notice that even when I do the news, I'm generally going to not cover upsetting or bad things, right? I saw today, I'm not going to trash any other vloggers, but one of the big cruise vloggers, somebody, a teen jumped off the ship or fell off the ship. I don't know what happened because I didn't watch the video, but they posted the person's picture that went overboard. And like, that's not what we're about, right? I'm not there to just get clicks and to get people to watch our videos. My goal is to provide the best information possible so that you guys can make great decisions and go on great cruises. That's it. That's what we're about. I have no problem staying in inside cabins. I prefer it to a balcony. I don't need a balcony. It's wasted space for me. The suites are nice, but I pay for those and they're expensive. Last year we did the Royal Crown Loft Suite. Man, that thing was like $7,000. But sometimes we like to just show you the different levels so that you get to see what it's all about. Paul said you're going on Seascape. Yeah, that's another thing I like about Seascape and MSC. You can add those drinks and Wi-Fi in. It's great. I love Seascape. It's one of my favorite cruise ships. I had such a blast on that ship. The food was great. Drink as much coffee. If you like coffee, man, the MSC Seascape has some great coffee. And they have great pizza, great pasta. The buffet is really nice. It's really pretty, which is, rare for me to say because I am not a big fan of buffets. It's really nice. It was never crowded or oppressive. So yeah, you're going to love Seascape. It's great. We did a bunch of videos on that, Paul. I don't know if you've seen them or not, but there's a ton of videos on Seascape on our channel. We were on there earlier this year. Thomas, thank you so much. Yeah, we're going to be doing these every Wednesday. I'm doing the format. We switched up a little bit. Every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to be doing a live. And every Sunday, I'm going to be doing cruise news. Unless I'm on a cruise. Because sometimes the live doesn't work. I'm going to try it. But sometimes it's real grainy and crappy. And then obviously, there's certain things we can't do. Greg said, Tony talks about awkward encounters. So Tony's got 200 and some thousand subscribers. So we only have 3,800. We're trying to get to 4,000 this month, hopefully. So we've had a couple encounters, nothing too crazy. But I do get people like it'll be funny. I'll be walking and videoing something, and somebody will say like, "Hey, it's John from Bite Size Cruises," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's really weird." And obviously we wear shirts like that say Bite Size Cruises. So sometimes people will come up to us and say, "Are you John?" I get a lot like people will come up to me and say, "Where's Meg?" Or like people will come up to me and be like, Are you and Meg married, or are you different situations with AJ and Meg?" And I'll say, "No, like Meg's married. We all work together. So we go on cruises together. We all stay in separate cabins." But yeah, it's funny, but nothing too crazy. But I do, it's really nice. I will say this. It's really nice to meet really nice people, because people will come up to us and be like, "Hey, I love your videos," or even some crew will come up and say, "Hey, we watched a few of your videos." And then we get better feedback. We get like, "Hey, I really wish you would say this," or "I really wish you would do that." It's awesome. Yeah, if you're doing the Panama Canal or the fjords, yes, of course. Balcony for sure, right? So you want to be able to see all those really cool things. Otherwise, man, so the other great thing about inside cabins or studios is that you have darkness. It's awesome, right? It's like you can sleep anytime. So I love that. Hey Thomas, thanks so much. Yeah, so I'm going to do that from now on. It's just, one of the other things that's really tough with doing daily content, right? Tony does daily news. So does Don, and Corey does a few days a week from Midships. It's really hard to do like content videos every day. So that aren't news, right? Because we're not doing news every day. And I don't want to infringe on what everybody else does. So I'm going to be doing a lot of the like individual things, breakdowns. They're going to be shorter videos, like maybe 6 to 9 minutes. But each of the restaurants, like on the next one, I'm going to be doing Jamie's Italian. I'm doing Chef's Table, just try to get good content. That should be really cool. So let's see. So I'll get info. Wondering if we decide to book another MSC after our February cruise, how can we be sure you get the credit plus still get the bonus for booking more? Oh, you don't have to do anything, Peter. So if you book with us, once you book with any travel agent, so like your last cruise. So if you book a cruise with us, we are then for that cruise line, we're your travel agent of record. So if you go onto a cruise, MSC for instance, and you go to their like next cruise desk and say, "Hey, I'm interested in booking a cruise," and they have, like Norwegian's the one that does the most of like put 250 down, get another 250 in future cruise credits or whatever it is, right? So on MSC, if you go there and say, "I want to book a cruise," and they say, "Okay, you get 100 onboard credit," when you go to book it with them, they will say, "Hey, John from Dream Vacations is your agent of record. Do you want them to get the credit for the cruise?" And you just say yes or no. It's no, you don't have to do anything. They'll tell you who's going to get the credit for it. So they don't care. It doesn't affect the bottom line of anything. I'll give everybody the little behind the scenes spiel about travel agents. And you'll always hear people say like, if you go to a reputable travel agent, they don't charge you. Very true. So the way it works is that travel agencies, like whatever travel agency, whether it's Expedia or Dream or Har Travel, Danny from Har Travel is awesome, or MEI, like Matt's, they sponsor Royal Caribbean Blog. When you book a cruise with a travel agent, they get a percentage of the cruise. So generally for most cruise lines, it's 16%. However, there are things you don't get credit for. So we don't get anything of the port fees or taxes, obviously. And then there's non-commissionable fees. So generally if you book say it cost you $3,000, there's probably like $500 to $1,000 worth of port fees, taxes, and non-commissionable fees we don't get commission on. So roughly, let's just say you book a $1,500 cruise, we get commission on $1,000 of that cruise. So it's 16% of that. So you figure about $160. The agency, like higher ups at Expedia or whatever, take about 10%, and then the travel agent, franchise owner, or whatever, splits it with the agent. So if you book a $1,000 cruise or $1,500 cruise, the actual agent that's doing your booking makes about $80, 70, 60 maybe, something like that. So just to give everybody the little background information. Marie, going to Iceland in the fjords on Prima. Marie, let me know what you think about Prima. It's a weird ship. It's a really pretty ship. It's elegant, but it's weird. So let me know what you think. I know people are polarizing on Prima and Viva. Dave said, is Don amazing or what? I had to move, cancer surgery, and still posted. It's amazing what Don and even like everyone who does this. And I really love Don. Some people love Don, some people don't. I love Don. He's very open and honest about his whole life, which is amazing considering everything he's gone through and been through. I love watching his life and how it unfolds. He really reminds me of Sean and Steph, if anybody used to watch Sean and Steph, and then Sean passed away. And Steph still does videos. She does a lot. She's done a few trips with Ben and David. But yeah, Don's amazing. It's incredible that he still like does it every single day. Those guys are great. Yeah, I love Emma. I love Tony. I love Don. I have a really funny story with how I got into this was by watching, Tony and Don and them during the pandemic, which really kind of inspired me to do it. They're great. Tony and them. And I think the really cool thing is they're all really, really, really nice people. That group, right? Emma, Tony, Don, Matt Hochberg from Royal Caribbean Blog. We joined, we're on the Matt's Patreon and I'm on all the live streams and everything. We love it too. We're a part of that community. So I agree. I would love to meet everybody, go on cruises with those guys. They seem so nice and so genuine. I love it. Cool. We're going to wrap up in a few minutes. Anybody else have any other questions before we get out of here? We're going to try to do like an hour for these. If there's a lot of people and it keeps going, I have no life. I'll stay. I just have to walk my dog after this. But otherwise, I'm happy to hang out. Greg said we're discovering cruise fever's thing. Yeah, I book, one of the things I tell everybody is as soon as you go on a cruise, you're just going to, it's like tattoos, right? People say like, if you get a tattoo, you're going to get a bunch of tattoos. Same thing with cruising. Once you go, it's addictive. You're just booking. I'm always looking like, obviously we book like a year. I've cruises booked in 2025. So group cruise, I'm down. I'll as I get closer to those guys, absolutely. I'm down for a group cruise with everybody. I think it'd be awesome to get everybody together. Yep. College Fever. Awesome. But yeah, cruise fever is definitely a thing. You will just keep going on cruises. I'm on a cruise every month. So I'll give everybody the rundown. Mariner's up next, Mariner of the Seas, and a little Disney. Thanks, Fred. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for everything. Mariner's up next. Then we have NCL Escape in October. Dave, great question. How hard is it to get the Ben & Jerry's inside-facing balcony cabin? It's really hard. There's a few like weird cabins. That one's really hard. It's like a year out. But just as you travel, whatever travel, if you book it on your own, there are some inside routes to it. But it's not easy to get that room. I have people ask for that all the time. It's really funny. Santa said, Santa, let me know if I'm pronouncing your name right too. I didn't think I'd like cruising. Yeah, it's awesome. It's so much fun. So Peter asked Eastern versus Western. So this is an interesting one for me. So I personally am not a huge fan of, so Eastern to me is a little too shoppy and salesy, right? So here's my recommendation. If you're going to do the Caribbean, do the Southern. For sure, do the Southern. Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, hit San Juan in one of those. That's an amazing itinerary. And then I would do Western. So you're going to hit the Mayan ruins, like that kind of cool stuff. So Costa Maya, Cozumel, Roatan, Jamaica, and then Eastern for me, St. Thomas, St. Martin, all those. If you just like beaches and stuff and shopping, Eastern Caribbean, culture and like cooler, like nature things, Western, and then a little more luxurious, and so a little bit of both. Southern is great. That's my recommendation for that. And obviously, Peter, shoot me another email and I can give you a bunch of recommendations. Marie, it is 100% getting expensive. We were talking about it earlier. It's a little crazy right now. Iceland's super expensive. Once you, if you go there into the ports, take a lot of money with you because Iceland is very expensive. Greg, yeah, I've done Seattle. I've cruised out of Long Beach once. Definitely got to get back up there. We're doing Seattle next year for Bliss. But yeah, I definitely want to hit the West Coast. Transatlantic, Leslie, is not for me. So, Leslie, thank you again for booking your cruises this week. I really appreciate it. And then, so Leslie, I am not a fan of 7 sea days in a row, 6 or 7 sea days in a row. I would like to do a transatlantic. Here's my thought. If I'm going to do a transatlantic, I am going to do Cunard. I'm going to go fancy schmancy on an ocean liner, and I'm going to go like full Titanic route. There's the right behind me there. But it's not for me. All those sea days are not for me, unless it was like on, I don't even know. I don't know what to say. But I'm going to do it at some point. I'll let you know, Leslie. We can do the transatlantic together. I don't know when, but it'll be sometime in the next few years because it's content. So I'll do it. But yeah, I mean, they're awesome. It's spectacular. If you like sea days and you get out there and it's a big adventure. But yeah, exactly. So traveling from Boston to Miami on an embarkation day, should we check our 2 carry-ons, a bigger bag? Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely the way to go, Paul. Check all that stuff and just carry your backpacks. It's just easier. What ship are you going on? Because that'll help me answer that question a little bit. Dave, 100%. I couldn't agree more. I love Southern Caribbean. It's awesome. I'd like to go out of New Orleans. I've never sailed out of New Orleans, but I'd like to do that. Yeah, thank God, Paul. Thank God you are not going the day of. That's like pro tip number 1. Never fly the day of your cruise going down. Wherever you're going, don't fly the day of. Fly the day before. Spend the money on a hotel. It's worth it. 100% worth it. So I'll give you our itinerary. September is Mariner. October is Escape, NCL Escape. November, we will be on Carnival Venezia. Actually, a really cool one. Oh, that's right, Paul. Seascape. Yeah. Check your stuff and just go enjoy the ship. It's not worth it. Everything will be at your ship at your rooms pretty quickly. They're pretty good at that. So Mariner, September, October, Escape, November, Carnival Venezia. And then that's a 10-dayer. That's a really long one out of New York down to the Caribbean, which is really odd for that time of year, but should be fun. Lots of sea days. Then January, I am on Carnival Jubilee. So back-to-back carnivals there, which is weird for me. Then February, NCL Epic. And then March, Icon. April, Virgin. June, Carnival Celebration. Lots of them coming up. Do you pick a hotel closer to the airports or cruise ports? Great question, Greg. Never in the middle. That's my biggest one. So 99.9% of the time, closest to the port. Like, get me away from the airport, get me close to the port. Now, Miami, I generally stay, it's close, right? It's 20 minutes from the airport. But generally Miami, we stay at the EB Hotel. The Intercontinental, Matt Hochberg recommends the Intercontinental and one other one. The problem is you can only do multi-day stays there, so you would have to go down a few days early. So generally I do something close there, or Port Canaveral, I generally stay at an Airbnb in the Cocoa Beach area, so you basically walk to the port from there. Same thing with Fort Lauderdale, close to the port. This next cruise I'm going on, obviously I'm staying at Disney, so that's going to be an hour away. I don't love doing that, trying to get a lift in the morning, but I'm doing it. But generally always closer to the cruise port. I don't want the stress in the morning of like if anything goes wrong. I almost want to be able to walk. I'll drag my stuff and walk. Travel insurance for sure, and don't go cheap on it. You're 100% right, Dave. So I have clients that canceled a cruise and didn't have insurance. That is not fun. But remember, my big thing with insurance is always, if you are anywhere other than the U.S. and you want to get flown back here for any reason, you want to have travel insurance. Yeah, AAA is great. AAA is good. There are a ton of good insurance companies out there. If anybody needs recommendations, shoot me an email and I'll send you some recommendations. You know, it doesn't matter. You don't have to book any of that stuff through me. I'll just give you some recommendations. I book yearly through Allianz, which I can't even sell. It's not like something we can sell. But since I go on so many cruises, I book yearly. And my policy is like, it's cheaper than it should be. It's like $700, $600, something like that for the year. And I go on 10 to 12 cruises a year, plus all the airfare and all the hotels and everything else. All right, we are going to wrap it up, everyone. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody coming and hanging out with us. Awesome, Greg. That's awesome that you did the Allianz. It's great. It pays for itself. Thank you, everyone. We will see everybody next Wednesday. We got a couple more Joy videos coming out over the next few days. Ship tour is going to be out soon. The room tour is going to be out soon. The rest of the dining is coming to you the next few days. And then all the excursions. So the Bermuda Triangle, the Gosling's Rum Tour, the West End Trolley Tour, and the Bermuda Port information. So thanks again, everybody. We really appreciate everybody coming. Meg and AJ hopefully will join us one of these weeks. I'll peer pressure them to hanging out late in the office here. So we'll see everybody next week. Have a great week, everyone, and I will talk to you all soon. Thanks, everyone.